Bao Island Storyteller, Journey to the West. Hey kids, welcome to Bao Island. On Bao Island, every story has a taste. Today's taste is sticky tube rice pudding from a century-old street. This episode, we're on Dihua Street in Datong. Today's story, the Immortal Furnace.
Welcome back to the Bao Island bus. Today I've parked us on Dihua Street in Datong District, the oldest commercial street in all of Taipei. This street was already busy in the 1850s, when it was the main trading hub for the whole northern Taiwan region. You could buy anything here: tea, medicinal herbs, dried seafood, spices, fabric, incense. The old red brick shophouses from that era are still standing, right here, on both sides of the street. The same buildings, the same stone thresholds, the same wooden signs.
It's like walking through a different century. Everything is old: the buildings, the wooden shelves, the smells.
Dried mushrooms, salted fish, star anise, licorice root. The smell of 100 years of trade.
But the people buying things look totally modern. There are teenagers with phone cameras photographing the old jars.
Dihua is one of those rare streets where the old and the new genuinely coexist. The herbs and the dried goods are still for sale. The same families, sometimes third or fourth generation, still running the same shops. But now there are also coffee shops and design studios tucked between the old traders.
A street that survived this long must know something about not getting swept away.
Quietly, which is a useful quality for today's story. Because today is about something that refuses to be destroyed. There's something in the air on this street. A century of dried mushroom and licorice root and sticky rice steaming in bamboo, the smell of Dihua Street at any hour it has ever existed.
Excited, what is it? Tell me, tell me.
Take a guess.
Mouth full, let me take a bite first. Excitedly, tube rice pudding. I found a shop right here that's been open since 1960. Look at this tiny stall. There must be 50 bamboo tubes lined up on the steam rack.
What exactly is it?
Okay, so glutinous rice, sticky rice, is mixed with minced pork, dried shrimp, shallots, and soy sauce, then packed tightly into small bamboo tubes and steamed for hours. You flip the tube upside down onto a plate, tap the bottom, and out slides this perfect cylinder of rice. It holds its shape exactly like the tube. On top you put braised pork sauce, a slice of boiled egg, and pickled cucumber.
Does it taste heavy?
That's the surprise. The rice is sticky but the flavor is light. The pork and shrimp are deeply savory. The pickled cucumber cuts through everything and makes your mouth water for the next bite. You eat it with a spoon, taking little scoops from top to bottom so you get a bit of everything at once.
Comfort food from an old street.
The best kind. Mouth full, muffled, okay. While I eat, tell me about the furnace.
Last time, Sun Wukong was captured, tied up, and handed over to Laozi. Laozi sealed him inside the 8-trigram furnace. This is no ordinary fire. The 8-trigram furnace burns at 8 intensities simultaneously. Each side of the furnace corresponds to one of the 8 trigrams of ancient Chinese philosophy, representing wind, fire, earth, water, thunder, mountain, lake, and heaven. Together, they generate a heat that should be capable of refining anything back to its base elements.
Like a magical incinerator.
Exactly. Laozi's logic was, Sun Wukong has eaten my immortality pills and the sacred peaches. He's made of the same refined material that my furnace is built to process. 49 days at full intensity should reduce him to ash or at least strip away his power.
But there's a problem.
There's a problem. When Laozi's assistants sealed the furnace, they miscalculated the position of the trigrams. The side of the furnace corresponding to wind, the one that fans the flame and creates the fiercest heat, faced away from where Sun Wukong was sitting. Instead, he ended up in the section governed by the symbol 4 emptiness, the one spot that had no direct flame.
He accidentally got the safe corner?
Pure bad luck for everyone except the monkey. He sat in that corner for 49 days, breathing a small amount of smoke.
What did the smoke do?
The smoke from the 8 trigram furnace is no ordinary smoke either. It's the concentrated essence of Laozi's immortality science. And after 49 days of breathing it in through the eyes.
Quietly, his eyes were changed.
When the furnace was opened on the 49th day, Laozi stood there with his assistants, expecting to find the monkey finished. Instead, the furnace doors burst open. Sun Wukong leaped out. Not weak, not burned. His body glowed. And his eyes were permanently transformed into what the book calls fire eyes and golden pupils.
Excitedly, what does that mean exactly?
Before, he could see far and he could see clearly. Now, he could see through anything. Any disguise, any illusion, any deception. Demons hiding in human form, monsters pretending to be ordinary objects, false appearances of every kind, his fire eyes would always see the truth underneath. It was the same ability Erlang used against him, but now Sun Wukong had it too.
The furnace that was supposed to destroy him gave him his most powerful ability?
The thing that was meant to kill him made him better. He looked around, blinking. He saw Laozi and the celestial assistants staring at him in horror. He reached behind his ear, pulled out his golden staff, expanded it to full size, and began.
Whispered, "Oh no."
Sun Wukong fought his way through the entire celestial bureaucracy. Generals fell. Palaces shook. Divine soldiers fled. His fire eyes could now see every trick, every trap, every ambush before it happened.
He's unstoppable now.
The 4 heavenly kings, the 4 most powerful military commanders in all of heaven, fell back. The 36 thunder generals retreated. The Jade Emperor abandoned his throne room and locked himself in the innermost palace with his court.
The Jade Emperor is hiding from a monkey.
And at the moment when the Jade Emperor had exhausted every option, when the celestial armies had all fled or fallen, when heaven itself seemed about to collapse, he sent his final message. Not to another general. Not to another warrior. He sent a messenger west, to the highest mountain in the world, carrying one request: is there anyone who can help us?
Very quietly, and the answer came back.
The answer came back. I'm coming.
Let's walk a little further down the street. Past the medicine shops on the left, see the walls of jars. Dried goji berries, lotus seeds, dried longan, astragalus root.
There's a smell coming from this shop, sweet and earthy and slightly medicinal. I love it.
Traditional Chinese medicine shops like these supplied the whole island for 150 years. Ships coming up the Danshui River would dock just a short walk from here. Goods from Fujian, from Southeast Asia, from Japan all traded on this street.
So everything passed through here.
Rice, salt, sugar, camphor, opium in the old days. The wealth of Taiwan flowed up and down this one street.
And it's still here. The same buildings, the same goods, well, not the opium, but the dried longan and the herbs and the pickled plums.
Some things persist because they're genuinely useful. Nobody stopped wanting medicine. Nobody stopped wanting preserved food. The world changed around this street and the street kept going.
Like a monkey in a furnace. Everything swirling around, trying to end it, and it just keeps going.
Warmly, you're getting very good at this.
Excitedly, okay, I have to stop at this shop. Preserved snacks. Literally north-south goods and preserved fruit. This is one of my favorite things about Dihua Street.
What have you got?
Salted plums. These are little dried plums that are both sour and sweet and salty, all at once. One in your mouth and your whole face does something involuntary. Then there's candied winter melon, sugary green strips that taste like a very gentle sweet. And dried mango slices with chili, sweet, fruity, spicy at the end.
Try the salted plum.
Pops one in, oh. Pause, wow. That is so sour. And then so sweet. And then somehow still sour again at the end. How does it do that?
The plum has layers.
Everything on this street has layers. The buildings have layers. The smells have layers. The food has layers. Even the story has layers.
Speaking of which, shall we meet the Buddha?
Yes. Please.
From his home on Lingshan, Spirit Vulture Mountain, in the far west, the Buddha arrived at the gates of heaven. He found Sun Wukong in the middle of a battle, staff swinging, celestial soldiers fleeing in every direction. He simply walked forward and said, in a calm voice, "Why the commotion?"
Excitedly, he just walked into the battle?
He didn't need to fight. His presence was enough to pause everything. Sun Wukong saw him, a figure radiating a light and calmness that was unlike anything he'd encountered, and stopped. The Buddha said, "I've come from the western heaven. I hear you want to take the Jade Emperor's throne. Tell me, what abilities do you have that make you qualified to rule heaven?"
Quietly, that's a very direct question.
Sun Wukong was delighted that someone was actually asking. He started listing everything: 72 transformations, staff that weighs 13,000 pounds, can fly 108,000 li in one somersault, immortal body that can't be burned or cut or stabbed, fire eyes that see through all deception.
He's genuinely impressive.
The Buddha listened patiently. Then he said, "Very good. I have one question. Can you leave my palm?
Confused, leave his palm?
Can you jump out of my hand? If you can, the Jade Emperor's throne is yours. If you can't, you'll need to listen to me."
Did Sun Wukong take the bet?
He looked at the Buddha's palm, an ordinary-sized hand, open and relaxed. He thought, "I can fly 108,000 li in one somersault. How big can one hand be?" He said, "Easy. That's the most one-sided bet I've ever heard."
Laughing, he's so confident.
He leaped onto the Buddha's palm, the size of a lotus flower, tensed his legs, and launched himself into the air with his most powerful somersault. He flew so fast the world blurred. Clouds, mountains, oceans, everything streaked past him. He flew and flew and flew. Then in the distance he saw 5 great pillars of light rising from the ground into the sky.
What were they?
He thought, "Those must be the pillars at the edge of the world. I'll mark them as proof that I reached the boundary of everything." He pulled out his brush and wrote, "Sun Wukong was here on the middle pillar." Then, just to be extra certain, he urinated at the base of the first pillar.
Horrified, he what?
He marked his territory.
He marked the edge of the universe like a dog marking a tree?
Quietly, he is a monkey.
Laughing, okay. Okay. Then what?
Sun Wukong somersaulted back to where he'd started, landed in front of the Buddha, and said, "I did it. I reached the edge of the world. I left my name on one of the 5 pillars there. You can check.
Quietly, what?
Sun Wukong looked down at the Buddha's palm. There on the middle finger, written in small characters, was Sun Wukong was here. And at the base of the thumb, there was a small smell of.
Horrified, then starts laughing, and oh. No. He never left the hand?
He flew 108,000 li in one somersault and was still inside the Buddha's palm the whole time.
Laughing uncontrollably, he thought he reached the edge of the universe and he was just running around inside someone's hand.
The world is bigger than you think it is.
Wiping tears from laughing, that is the most humbling thing I have ever heard. He was so sure he'd done it.
The Buddha said, gently, you little monkey. You never even left my hand. And now, for causing 500 years of trouble, you need to rest. The Buddha extended his hand outward and it grew and grew and grew until the 5 fingers became 5 mountain peaks. 5 elements mountain. And Sun Wukong, the great sage equal to heaven, who had beaten every general, survived 2 furnaces, and smashed the Jade Emperor's throne room, was sealed underneath it.
Quietly, sealed under a mountain.
The Buddha pressed a golden seal onto the mountaintop, a talisman that locked the mountain in place. He told the gods of soil and water to watch over it. And he told them, this monkey will stay here until the right person comes to release him. And when that person comes, the monkey will have a purpose. A journey. And a chance to become something more than he is now.
How long?
500 years.
Long pause, 500 years under a mountain. Alone.
He could stick his head out above the rock. He could speak. Wind could reach him. Rain could reach him. Iron pellets were his food. Copper water was his drink. But the mountain didn't move.
That's not a punishment. That's forced stillness.
For a creature that had never been still for a single day in his life. Yes.
Bridge, do you think the Buddha was being cruel?
What do you think?
Thinking, the Buddha didn't kill him. He didn't take away his abilities. He just stopped him. Put him somewhere where all that power couldn't do anything. Like, not punishment, but pause.
The Buddha said something important when he sealed the mountain. He said Sun Wukong was trapped by his own nature. Not by the mountain. By himself. The mountain was just the shape that nature took when it finally caught up with him.
He'd been running from stillness his whole life. Jumping, fighting, transforming, escaping. And in the end, the one thing that could stop him wasn't strength or fire or cleverness. It was 500 years of sitting still with himself.
That sounds like the hardest thing.
Quietly, yeah. It does. For someone like him, I think it really was.
And what comes out the other side of 500 years of waiting is what the whole journey is actually about.
Time to wrap up. The light is getting long on Dihua Street. The old shophouses glow a bit in the late afternoon.
Today we were on Dihua Street, 150 years of trade, dried herbs, preserved fruits, and old shopfronts still open for business. We ate sticky tube rice pudding with braised pork sauce, and salted plums that made our faces do things. And we watched Sun Wukong walk out of Laozi's furnace with fire eyes and golden pupils, smash his way to the Jade Emperor's throne, and then meet the Buddha, take a bet he was completely sure he'd win, discover he'd been running inside someone's hand the whole time, and end up sealed under a mountain. For 500 years.
He wrote his name on the Buddha's finger. And thought it was the edge of the universe.
The most powerful being in all the stories below heaven, humbled by one open hand.
What's next?
Next time, we head to Shilin, Taipei's biggest district. The old official residence, the children's amusement park. Oyster omelette and big pancake sandwich. And the story shifts completely. The monkey is under the mountain. Now we need to find out, why does he need to be released? What journey is he being saved for? The Buddha explains everything. And Guanyin begins her own long road.
Excitedly, the journey actually begins?
The pieces are finally starting to move. Softly, under the mountain, in the quiet, the monkey is finally learning the one thing no trick could teach him: how to wait. On Bao Island, stories grow up with you.